Well, Imogene. I'm sure by now you recognize my voice. It's your dear old friend, the Mergatroid serial killer. I want to give you credit this time. At least you were honest on the air, so maybe there is hope for you. I saw you on CRZY last night, admitting that you thought your father was lying, that perhaps it wasn't me who abducted him. Well, you're absolutely correct. Your dear old daddy was lying. I am not the one who abducted the illustrious Dr. Hubert Filkowski. But I do have something very interesting to enlighten you about, my dear Imogene. That's why I've included in this package that I've sent you a cassette tape that I made as a child to reveal to you the horrible abuse that my brother and I were subjected to by our stepfather and stepmom, who refused when we were growing up to let us know who our real parents were, who our real mother was. I always had my suspicions from things that my stepdad said about who my mom might be, but I had to confirm them. So I have one more little surprise for you, Imogene. I'm sure you're aware the other day when the illustrious Senator Devane was quizzing Dr. Getrick during those Senate hearings into Flashy the Paper Doll. I'm sure you recall that Dr. Getrick vehemently denied on the Les Tomac show that it was Flashy the Paper Doll and Woodpulp Boy who knocked him unconscious. Well, guess what? Dr. Getrick was telling the truth. It was I who arrived secretly in the lab from the tunnel below. It was I who knocked Dr. Getrick unconscious. Imagine my surprise when I got there and the place was surrounded by the police and the SWAT team looking for Flashy the Paper Doll and Woodpulp Boy. They didn't see me as they snuck out through the tunnel below, nor did they see me knock Dr. Getrick unconscious. But you see, I had to obtain the proof that I needed to find out who my mother really was. See, I knew from things that my stepdad had said that my mother had participated in some DNA experiments years earlier. Well, I knew that DNA test. I knew that the vials of blood that were stored by Dr. Getrick would prove my parentage if, in fact, my theory was correct about who my mom really was. And it was. I was correct, Imogene. It may also surprise you to know that I have a sister. Yes, dear Mom's DNA was used to create Flashy the Paper Doll. And my poor deceased brother's DNA was used to create Woodpulp Boy. Any wonder that Woodpulp Boy is, shall we say, somewhat more violent than Flashy? So, I suppose I will have to spell it out for you, Imogene. But first, listen to the cassette tape that I've enclosed and look at the vial of blood. You should be able to put two and two together, but if you can't, I will be calling you back, and I will be telling you explicitly who my mother actually is. Goodbye, Imogene.
Oh my gosh, Hugh, oh my gosh. Oh my, now. Hugh, honestly now, I don't think I can handle this alone. You know I am not the biggest fan of men, but I would really appreciate it if you and Les Tomek would step into my office and listen to this cassette tape that the Mergatroid serial killer sent me.
Imogene, of course I will. Les, you come and join us too. Imogene, we both know you have been through a lot lately, the threats and taunts from this serial killer, the abduction of your father, we understand. Yes, let's go into your office and listen to this cassette
Shut
tape.
up, you little pisshead. He's just like your twin brother Apronhead, always hiding behind your stepmother's apron. Both of your mistakes. You should never have been born. Your real mother don't want either one of you. She dumped me. I wasn't good enough for her. Just a motorcycle gang member. Her highfalutin illustrious father called me. That's what he said. Of course, it turned out I wasn't either one of you two's real daddy anyway. But she gave you both to me to cover it all up. She didn't want the bad publicity of being pregnant. Your real daddy is a damn clown. Ha ha. He'll get me another beer, pisshead. Now keep quiet while I watch the wrestling, or I'll beat the hell out of both of you, just like I do your stepmom. You'll never amount to anything, either one of you, pisshead or apronhead. Neither one of you will ever amount to anything.
Oh my God, Hugh. Oh my God, Les. The serial killer is the son of Judy Vincini. And Apronhead was his brother, and Flashy the paper doll is his sister. I am in a state of shock. I think I am going to faint. Oh my God.
Well, Imogene. I brought you another cassette tape in the mail. Listen to it and take a peek into my tormented childhood. You've written one best-selling book, The Ineffectual Male. Perhaps you'll write a biography, a true crime story about me, the Mergatroid serial killer. You see, when I do go out, I'm going to go out with a bang. Oh, I intend to take all of Mergatroid with me. I'm never going to give up, and they'll never take me alive. I plan to stick around for a little while before my final act. So, enjoy this little cassette, Imogene. Good day.
Hello. No one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Hey, Edna. This Uncle Frank here. Listen, that Jaco came by here last night on that motorcycle at 2 o'clock in the morning and woke me and Suki up. Let me tell you, she's just about to have a heart attack. I'll tell you what. And you tell him not to ever come over here again at this time again like that. And she can't take it. Her nerves are shot anyway. Anyway, he said he left the boys with you, you know, Apronhead and little brother over there, and I don't mind y'all coming by, but don't bring them over here. Don't bring them over here. Aunt Suki's nerves can't take it, and them two little brats are just like their daddy. They're nutty as a fruitcake, just like their daddies. He wasted his brain on drugs and rolling around with that motorcycle gang, and that's exactly what's wrong with Apronhead and the other one both, is by that damn stepdaddy of theirs, the way he's raised them. And I wonder how long he'll be gone on the motorcycle this time. Well, I wish y'all luck. You did enough taking care of them, but don't bring them over here. All right. Thank you. It's Uncle Frank. Thank you.
Hello. No one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
And it's Uncle Frank, and I've got a bone to pick with you. You know, I asked you not to bring the boys over here. Well, yesterday while I was gone, you did anyway, and you dropped them off with Aunt Suki, and I'd gone into town to pick up a few things. And when I got back, Aunt Suki was climbing the wall. She's about to have a nervous breakdown. They got into the refrigerator. They had gone through everything. They had meddled around through the drawers. I didn't know it at the time, but last time they was over here, I took a lighter away from Apronhead and put it up, and he had found it. I didn't know that he did. So he had to get them out of the house where they wouldn't drive Aunt Suki completely crazy. Yeah. Got them in the pickup, and I took them into town to get them something to eat. You know, we went over to Drift to get them a double, and got them inside there and ordered the food and everything. And I'll tell you what, they went wild. Apronhead went all over the place, just turning that lighter on and off, flicking it on and off, flicking it on and off. And manager finally asked me, he said, don't bring him back in here. And I apologized for him, and I paid for our food, and I said, don't worry, I won't bring him back. And so I got him back in the pickup, and we got back out to the house, and I took that lighter away from him again, and I didn't realize he had another one on him. So anyhow, they both ate, and I put both in a little room in there watching TV, and I thought they'd keep quiet while I came and sat down and read the Mergatroid Times, and Suki watched her Heart's Desire soap opera. Well, next thing I know, it wasn't 10 minutes past, I heard the most ungodly shriek from out in the backyard, and so I ran outside. Apronhead had set 5 of Aunt Suki's chickens on fire. And I mean, they were just running around on fire, and of course, I tried to put them out. Of course, he killed them. You know, they were so badly burned, and they didn't survive. And, of course, I took the lighter from him, away from him again. I said, y'all boys y'all just get out here. I was mad. I was pissed off, let me tell you. So I made them walk. And so I imagine they, you know, I guess they made it home. They know how to get to your place. So anyhow, don't bring them back over here again. I'm just letting you know I did not appreciate it, and that's what they put me and Aunt Suki through. Thank you. Well, now that I have paid my final respects to my poor deceased brother, Apronhead, Reginald Vincent Niedermeyer III, dear Mom, dear Judy, at least you named him Vincent after your father, Vincent Vincini. I only have one last visit here to make to my dear old psychiatrist, Dr. Derrickson. While all of Mergatroyd goes up in flames, I must pay a final visit to the man who meant so much to me and Apronhead. I shall pay you one last visit, Dr. What's this? You're not in your office, Dr. Derrickson. The door was open, but you don't seem to be here. Ah, what's this? Another door. A secret room. An office within an office. Ah. Well, sorry to have to do this, Dr. Derrickson, but I'm knocking you unconscious. What's this? Ah. So, you developed time travel. It's my sister, Flashy, the paper doll. And she's gone into the past, into France, into the 40s, and there she is by the Eiffel Tower. It looks like Timmy, that missing boy they think I kidnapped and killed, Timmy Lawrence, and he's in the year 2071. I've changed my plans, Dr. Derrickson. I'm going to go out with a bang and commit suicide as I originally intended. While all of Mergatroyd goes up in flames, a lasting tribute to my brother, Apronhead, I shall escape into time to another time period. Yes, I'll go to this energy flux that's out there in the woods. I'll make my way to the woods, and I'll go straight through the energy doorway. Goodbye, Dr. Derrickson. Goodbye, Mergatroid. Goodbye, present time.
to the late night Les Tomac show Dark and Deep, where heavy, complex intellectual and philosophical issues are discussed for our late-night thinking audience. So go mix yourself a strong mixed drink or put on a pot of coffee and get ready for the mind-challenging Dark and Deep show.
Yes, I'm glad to be here. And my wife, Jacqueline, reads some results, so very glad to be here, too. I'd like to talk about parallel universes and how they are created, how alternate timelines, alternate realities are in fact created. You see, every time someone goes back into time and changes something, it has unknown consequences and ripple effects that we've yet to completely determine or unravel. Now, not everything has the same impact. And let me give you an example here. Let's just say, for example, that my wife Jacqueline here was to travel back to the time of Cleopatra and was to leave a big glider with Cleopatra, for example. Well, Cleopatra's fascinated with it, uses it to go around the pyramids and light different things, what have you, and it's a novelty. It's considered magical, a form of sorcery or whatever, but whenever the high priest, the Egyptian high priest, tear it apart, they don't know how to put it back together. They can't replicate the material, so it's lost for all time. It becomes the stuff of legends that there was some kind of little device that Cleopatra could use to go light things, for example. But I want you to think for a second, Les, what if my wife Jacqueline had traveled back, say 50,000 years earlier, say during the Ice Ages or earlier, and had given this lighter, this big lighter, to mankind before fire has been discovered and utilized. And so early man is able to take this big lighter and start fires, and they start the fires and continue to build the fires, and therefore fire gets introduced to mankind simply because someone from the future went back and introduced a big lighter. So timing is very important in time travel. The point at which a concept, an idea, a device from the future gets introduced into the past, the timing of it and the time period in which it occurs is equally as important as the act of going back and introducing something into an earlier age itself. Again, these are heavy, heavy subjects. Heavy subjects.
Urgent news bulletin alert. News bulletin alert. We interrupt this program to alert the viewing public of the growing crisis in Mergatroid. Mergatroid is ablaze tonight. Yes, the city of Mergatroid is on fire. The first blaze broke out at the Vincini Cosmetics Corporation approximately 1 hour ago, followed by another large raging fire at Drifty's hamburger restaurant and yet another blaze at the Super Deluxe Ultra Hotel. The fourth major blaze has engulfed the northern portion of Dead Center Park. Citizens are urged to very quietly and slowly evacuate Mergatroid if you live near any of these conflagrations, and those out on the highway are urged to please avoid coming into Mergatroid as the level of smoke will be hazardous to anyone who has respiratory problems. Do not enter Mergatroid for any reason unless you absolutely have to. Teams of firefighters from other cities are en route to Mergatroid to attempt to contain these blazes. I repeat, large sections of the city of Mergatroid are on fire tonight. If you live in or near the areas of any of the major blazes, you are urged to evacuate.
dark day in the Mergatroid city of present time. The Mergatroid serial killer has set many locations in Mergatroid on fire, and as Mergatroid is going up in flames, the serial killer has discovered the secret time travel lab of Dr. Derrickson and knocked the doctor unconscious. Now the serial killer has reached the undulating energy time field in the woods outside Mergatroid, where he will now enter time, his destination who knows where.
As firefighters battle the multiple blazes in Mergatroid, law enforcement agencies have ramped up the search for the individual who claims responsibility for the fires. The Mergatroid serial killer, who has now been tentatively identified as Eric Trenton Niedermeyer, the brother of Reginald Vincent Niedermeyer III, also known as Apronhead. Lieutenant Skitters was able to identify the serial killer through cassette tapes which the serial killer had mailed to Imogene Slokowski at CRZY News. Voices, statements, and persons in the cassette recordings provided vital clues to the identity of the serial killer. Repeating, a manhunt continues for Eric Trenton Niedermeyer and the battle against the raging fires in Mergatroid continues. Further updates to follow.
The great city of London in the year 1888. The Mergatroid serial killer stumbled upon Dr. Derrickson's time flux energy transport device. After knocking Dr. Derrickson unconscious, the Mergatroid serial killer made his way to the woods between the burning, raging fires of Mergatroid, fires which the serial killer himself set. And while Mergatroid went up in flames, the Mergatroid serial killer stepped through the energy time vortex, not knowing where it would take him, not knowing where he would land. As time and fate would have it, the Mergatroid serial killer has landed in the London of 1888. Well, Mergatroid, if you could only see me now. Imogene, Dr. Derrickson, Uncle Frank, here I am. And this is London, the great city of London. Ah, yes, there's the big man. Ah, yes, the Tower of London. Ha, ha. And there's a newspaper over there. This is 1888. Oh, my goodness. If I recall my history correctly, I have competition in this time period. Someone who calls himself Jack the Ripper is at work here in the London of 1888. Ha! But wait. Perhaps by traveling back through time, I am Jack the Ripper. So I must test these waters, these young, defenseless, innocent female victims walking all over the city. Yes. London, 1888. Welcome. The Mergatroid serial killer has arrived. What have we here staring at me right here in this alley? I recognize you. You're Flashy the paper doll. I've seen you all over TV back in Mergatroid from my own time. I guess Dr. Derrickson decided to send you back here after me. Well, it won't do you any good. I'll cut you into pieces the same way I did all those human females. You're about to die, Flashy.
So, you are the Mergatroid serial killer. You must have traveled back through time also. I am here to find Flashy and you are standing in my way. I am not one of those weak, puny, defenseless human females that you like to cut to pieces. Perhaps a good jolt of electric shock would knock you out of my way. You should have been strapped down in an electric chair long ago, you vile piece of human garbage. Perhaps I will do all humans in all time periods a favor that they do not deserve by putting an end to your pathetic, miserable existence.
The Mergatroid serial killer has had a confrontation with Flashy 2, the duplicate of Flashy who has also come from the future. A confrontation in which he was left unconscious, left for dead, but Flashy 2 overestimated the effects of the electric burst with which she hit him, and now the Mergatroid serial killer is awakening to consciousness.
Well, I'm awake. I wonder how long I was out. That was a rather jarring experience, Flashy. Oh, I guess Dr. Derrickson never told you. You're my sister. I guess you don't know. Well, it's going to take a lot more than that, sis, to take me out. But I must say, you're a lot more aggressive than I imagined you would be. I guess dear Mom, dear Judy, had some of the aggression in her. Maybe I don't get all of it from Bangley Boot the Clown. At any rate, I'll find you again, and there's going to be a rematch. And I'll take you out, dear sister. Dr. Derrickson made a big mistake sending you back here for me. You're no match for me, the Mergatroid serial killer, dear sister. You see, my dear sister, after I finish cutting up with the local girls here in London, slicing and dicing my way through Whitechapel, I'm going to find you and challenge you to a rematch, my dear Flashy. Only this time I'll be wearing a protective, insulated suit that will protect me from your electric shock. And this time when I go after you, I will literally cut you to shreds.
Serial killer has left the city of London of 1888 and traveled back through the energy time flux field. It has taken him back to where he began, the woods between Mergatroid and Flat Town, his old stomping grounds, the very area he once terrorized for years and years.
Well, I can't say I'm going to miss London one damn bit. Looks like I'm back in my own neck of the woods now. Uncle Frank's old house is near here. Maybe he and Aunt Suki are still asleep. Maybe I can get lucky tonight and cut both their throats while they're asleep. Huh? Truck is gone. Figures. They're not home. Wonder where the hell they could be. I bet the back door's open as usual. Careless idiots. But at least I can step in and figure out what year it is. Oh yeah, TV is going like always, and there's the Mergatroid Times newspaper. So Mergatroid has rebuilt since I burned it to the ground. These fools think I've been dead for 3 months. Ah, look at this. Imogene is getting married. Now, if I have anything to do with it, that's one wedding that's about to get crashed by the Mergatroid serial killer. Yes, it's great to be back home. Mergatroid, welcome back, your native son, the Mergatroid serial killer.
Mergatroid in the Prime Universe. While skateboarder Timothy Lawrence's son struggles to adjust to a strange parallel universe in which he finds himself, the Mergatroid serial killer has returned to Mergatroid in the Prime Universe to resume his horrific rampage and to target Imogene Slokowski at her wedding. And an unsuspecting populace is unprepared and unaware of his presence because the evil and power-hungry Senator Devane has lied to the public and made them believe that the serial killer burned to death.
Mergatroid, home sweet home. While I've been gone bouncing around through time the first few months, these poor deluded people think I'm dead. The newspaper headlines, the TV headlines have them thinking I burned to death in that Mergatroid fire that I started. The Mergatroid has been rebuilt, and my dear friend Imogene is going to get married. She's marrying that worthless talk show host Les Tomac. Both of them trashed my reputation on television. No, this is one wedding that's never going to take place. But since it's being televised, there will be quite a crowd there. Although I like the close and personal touch of a knife, I think this time I will have to change my modus operandi. Yes, I think this time the Mergatroid serial killer is going to become a sniper, like Senator Quint's assassin. I'll get a high-powered rifle, and I will secret myself somewhere nearby within range of Imogene and Les, and I'll kill them both on nationwide television before the wedding even begins. Or perhaps, for dramatic effect, I'll let the wedding begin and then I'll fire my shots. Maximum audience for the spectacle. Yes, the Mergatroid serial is back, and I do have a few days to kill before the wedding, however, and a few more victims to kill, and Mergatroid hasn't had any killings for the past 6 months, so I suppose I should leave my calling card. A good victim or two near the CRZY studio would be great as a breakfast present for dear Imogene. So I suppose it's time that I go hunting again. Yes, it's time I go hunting again. So the illustrious Senator Devane is going to be attending your wedding ceremony, Imogene. I saw where your dear old dad has flown the coop. Disappeared, as they say, the same way I do so very often. Well, this ups the ante considerably, seeing as how your wedding's going to be nationally televised. I enjoy being a serial killer so very, very much, but geez, stepping up to the plate to become a political assassin? Yes. I think now the dear Senator Devane will be my first target. Then I'll take care of whatever minister replaces your dear old daddy. And then, of course, it's going to be you, or less, or you. Let's see, should I just roll some dice or flip a coin to decide which one to shoot first? Then I have to decide whether to start shooting into the wedding crowd. Are those lame Secret Service men? I'll be positioned at such a distance. All of the bodyguards Senator Devane brings to your wedding won't be able to stop me, Imogene. Oh, this will be big news. And I already have my escape planned. I've already got a path marked out from your wedding site to the place in the woods where the energy-filled, time flux energy-filled, so that I can jump right back into time and escape into another time period. Oh, yes. This is going to be a dark, dark day in the rebuilt Mergatroid. I burned it down once. Now it's just simply time to take out some of the movers and shakers, yes. Let's become front page news again, going after some of the big shots of Mergatroid. I wonder if my dear mother, Judy Vincini, will show up at the wedding. Ah, well. Whether or not dear Mom arrives, I've got plenty of targets. Oh, it's going to be quite a wedding blast, Imogene. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Good evening. This is a special CRZY news report. This special report is regarding the unexpected events at the wedding of Les Tomac and Imogene Flakowski today in Dead Center Park. Utter chaos erupted when shots were fired. Apparently shots fired from a distance. In the wake of all of this, dead, slain at the scene, Eric Niedermeyer, the Mergatroid serial killer who had previously been believed to have burned to death in the Mergatroid fire. It was revealed today that he was killed by a sniper at the scene when Lieutenant Skitters identified the body and made an announcement. And we'll show you a little of that later in this broadcast. First, I want to talk about how much worse the situation could have been. A high-powered rifle was found with the slain serial killer, along with a haunting, taunting audio message, no doubt intended for Imogene Flakowski. Here at CRZY, the serial killer has taunted her all along now for months and months. And there was an absence during which it was believed that he was dead. Senator Devane blatantly lied on television in awarding Timothy Lawrenson the medal. Timothy apparently was pressured into lying as well during that same broadcast when they both alleged that the Mergatroid serial killer has burned to death. Lieutenant Skitters revealed today that is not the case. And here is that haunting, chilling message found, the audio message found with Eric Niedermeyer with his body. Here it is. Seeing as how your wedding's going to be nationally televised, I enjoy being a serial killer so very, very much, but geez, stepping up to the plate to become a political assassin? Yes. I think now the dear Senator Devane will be my first target. Then I'll take care of whatever minister replaces your dear old daddy. And then, of course, it's going to be you, or Les, or you. Let's see, should I just roll some dice or flip a coin to decide which one to shoot first? Then I have to decide whether to start shooting into the wedding crowd. Are those lame Secret Service men? I'll be positioned at such a distance. All of the bodyguards Senator Devane brings to your wedding won't be able to stop me, Imogene. Oh, this will be big news. And I already have my escape planned. I've already got a path marked out from your wedding site to the place in the woods where the energy-filled, time flux energy-filled, so that I can jump right back into time and escape into another time period. Oh, yes. This is going to be a dark day in the rebuilt Mergatroid.
It is, in fact, the body of Eric Niedermeyer, also known as the Mergatroid serial killer.
Wait a minute. Wouldn't this mean that Senator Devane was lying when he pinned that medal on Timmy and announced that the Mergatroid serial killer had burned to death in the fire?
Well, yes, obviously Senator Devane was lying about the Mergatroid serial killer burning to death in the fire. He was killed here today by sniper fire. But he was right about fire. He was right about fire.
Thank you, Lieutenant Skitters. Thank you very much. That's the scene here at Dead Center Park in Mergatroid. It was a beautiful wedding day for Les Tomac and Imogene Flakowski. Has now turned into the death of the Mergatroid serial killer by sniper fire. This is Ronson Kilroy. We'll be back later with more details.
I want to thank you for allowing me some private time here with my deceased son. I will see to it that this medical examiner's office receives greater funding from my local politics friends with who are in a position to make that happen. Now that Senator Devane has been exposed, perhaps the late Senator Quent's son can now become senator. Oh, how I miss his father, my longtime lover Anderson Quent. Again, thank you for allowing me and my team of close confidants in here to see my son. Of Eric, I failed you all of your life by not being there. My control freak father Vincent Vincini prevented me from raising you, but I am going to attempt to make it up to you. I am going to attempt to give you another chance, Eric. Team, listen carefully. We must move quickly to get this body out of here and over to the biotech lab of Dr. Getrick.
I will go keep the personnel here distracted and occupied while you move my dear son to the only place that can possibly give him another chance at a new and better
Greetings
life.
to my dear friend from way back, the great Judy Vancini. I will be more than glad to attempt what you are asking, Judy. Reviving a deceased body is a rather difficult, complicated process, and I cannot guarantee you success. Another equally difficult task will be attempting to remove the negative thought patterns which resulted in Eric becoming the Mergatroid serial killer. Intense advanced psychotronic therapy will have to be used. Restoring a healthy, non-violent mind will be the goal which we can hopefully achieve. I will very discreetly send word to you of my progress, and I understand you will have a safe, secret place for Eric to live as soon as he is revived and has recovered enough to be able to be secretly moved from here. I will, of course, discreetly let you know when he is ready so that the transfer can be carried out. Goodbye, Judy, talk to you soon.
This is a CRZY News Bulletin. The body of the Mergatroid serial killer, Eric Niedermeyer, is missing from the medical examiner's office. Speculations range along the lines of angry family members of one of the many slain victims having stolen the body for revenge purposes to the possibility of macabre trophy hunters having stolen the body. Lieutenant Skitters announced that no measures to recover the body or identify the ghoulish culprits will be taken. He went on to explain, in a press conference earlier today, that he felt that Mergatroid had already suffered enough grief with the more than 22 victims in the past 4 years, and that the faster the whole thing can be closed, the faster the healing process for Mergatroid can move forward. In other news today, Vincini stock again rallied with the huge box office success of the new hit movie Zombie War Apocalypse at the Vincini Triple Flex
Dr.
Theaters.
Gatrick, have you been successful? Have you brought my son Eric back to life?
Yes.
Is he alive?
Yes, Judy Vancini. Eric Niedermeyer, your son, is now alive once again. He is not yet in a fully conscious state, he is more or less in a coma, you might say. But rest assured, over time, he will definitely regain consciousness, and the retraining of his mind can begin.
Year 2043 in Paris, France, and Flashy the paper doll is troubled by a sudden, vivid nightmare, a precognitive vision warning of her of a devastating event involving both her and her double.
Am I seeing double? Are my eyes playing tricks on me? There's two of you, sister. I don't believe this. Two flashies. Huh. Double the trouble, double the fun. I'll slice and dice both of y'all into thousands of shreds of paper. Yes, by 1,000 cuts, all right. There'll be nothing left of either one of you when I'm through with you.
Oh, Woody, oh my goodness, Woody. I just had another precognitive nightmare. I just foresaw that there is a duplicate of me, a twin, so to speak, that Dr. Getrick created and that the Mergatroid serial killer was trying to destroy both of us. Even though I have never met her, I must go back and save my twin sister, the other Flashy, from this dreadful attacker. The two of us can successfully defeat this evil killer. So Woody, you stay here and take care of our many children, and I must go back through the energy time flux field to our own time of 2016 and face this evil attacker and save my sister. I must leave at once. I could feel that this event is very close to transpiring back in our time period. Don't worry, I will be okay and I will be back. I promise I will return. Woody, explain to the children as best you can what it is that I had to go back and take care of. I love you, Woody the Woodpulp Boy, and I will be back soon. Wish me luck. Wish me luck.
Exhausted, Dr. Getrick, and we have spent hours looking for Eric to no avail. We must hope that he is alright and does not collapse. If he is found and recognized, we will lose him completely and would open up the danger of our work being discovered here as well. We must get back to the lab and hope that he will return there. That is all that we can do at the moment. We cannot involve the authorities for many obvious reasons, as you fully well know, Dr.
Reeves Summer. We will simply have to get some sleep and resume the search tomorrow. I do believe that Eric is harmless enough and probably still too weak to pose a threat to anyone. Plus, being clinically dead before we got him, his brain wave activity had ceased. Once we brought him back to life, I had managed to reteach him a great deal and he was coming along nicely, of course. I really believe he has changed and has no memory of his former violent self. Right now we must get Flashy 2 back to the lab so that I can replace her damaged microprocessor chip.
Dr. Getrick, that procedure was so fast and painless and easy? With a new microprocessor chip. Now I understand that the other Flashy is not my enemy and that you sent me to bring her back here. Well, I have very good news, Dr. Getrick. Because she and I am both basically the same being, I have a psychic link to her and can share her thoughts. Also because of this new microprocessor chip I can sense that she is very near. Dr. Getrick. Flashy is now back in this time period of 2016 and she is on her way to the lab here now. And I am not sure why, but she has no memory or ever meeting me or ever confronting me in Paris, France. I am glad she has no memory of that, because I sincerely regret it.
Listen,
I honestly do.
Flashy too, you have no reason to feel guilt or regret. You were not yourself and it was not your fault. The reason that the other Flashy does not remember you confronting her in Paris, France in the future is because that actually happened in an alternate timeline. More than one timeline has been created and even the current one that we are in has been altered in many ways, some subtle and others more profound, but ways nonetheless that we will never fully know or understand. There is a race of immortal beings who are aware of the changes, and they move from one alternate reality and from one timeline to another, but they rarely appear and even more rarely intervene. But Dr. Reeves Summer and I have seen one of them on the monitor screen, a man in a black hat. There are others besides him, of course, and seem unaffected by time, as if they existed somehow outside of time. I am very intrigued, but information on these beings is still very limited, of course. Okay, Flashy 2, I see here now on the monitor where the original Flashy is indeed on her way back here, just as you know as well. We must get ready to greet her now.
Oh my goodness, you poor thing. Who are you? I can tell you're a man. You see, I might be blind but I'm not stupid. Your wrist. Oh my gosh. Your pulse speed is way too high, and your heart rate too. We need to get you to my place so you can lie down and rest. What have you been doing? Are those stitches on your chest? Come with me now, come with me. I don't live far from here at all. I live by myself. Me and my seeing-eye dog. But he's very friendly. After you sleep for a while I will give you something to eat. What's your name anyway?
My name is Eric. And this is Mergatroid.
Oh my goodness, home sweet home at last. Ha ha ha. Eric, please pardon my messy apartment. You know I can't see anything. Ha ha ha, at least I can laugh about it. Hope you don't mind, I keep the television going all the time. It helps me keep my mind occupied, you know. See, my dog likes you already. Just lie down there on the couch and sleep for a while, and when you wake up I will have something ready for you to eat.
Is your mind running slow? Are your thinking processes sluggish? Try the new Vincini Ultra Deluxe Super Mental Alertness Formula. It brings your brain back to life. Sharpens your dull mind to a fine focus so that you can be in control of your life both vertically and horizontally. So come get some Vincini Ultra Deluxe Super Mental Alertness and experience the awe and mystery of being fully aware of life once again instead of one of the brain-dead masses.
Good evening, viewers and listeners both. This is Les Tomac. Glad to be back from a honeymoon vacation. As you know, Imogene and I were away in Paris, France on our honeymoon, but it's great to be back here in Mergatroid and back here tonight hosting Dark and Deep, which, as you know, is simulcast both here on television at CRZY as well as on a radio station, so you can listen to it on the radio and call in, or you can call in while watching it on TV. And of course, all of you viewers and callers and listeners already know that your phone call is aired live right here on Les Tomac Dark and Deep show, as well as on the radio show. So I guess we're ready to start a show. It is open mic. I'm not going to bore you with details about our honeymoon in Paris. I'll do a special Les Tomac show about that. But you're free to call in again and talk about any relevant news topic, any local event, any major event, anything. Just call in. We're ready to take your calls. And it looks like we have a caller right now on line 1. Go ahead, caller.
Well, obviously, I wish to remain anonymous during this call, but I am one of the thousands of women nationwide who had her face scarred by that Vincini face cream a few years ago. How in the hell Judy Vincini got away with putting that low-level acid in the face cream is beyond me. And that class action lawsuit. Well, I was part of that, and I will not disclose the small settlement that I received, but I will tell you that it was downright insulting. It won't even come close to touching the pain and suffering I endured the past several years. I have been to 4 different dermatologists and they all tell me that there is nothing they can do, that I will just have to live with it. Well, I wonder how Judy Vincini can live with herself knowing what she did. You would have thought those televised Senate hearings would have done her in, but she ended up getting romantically involved with Senator Quint and that relationship somehow protected her, I guess. Then he got shot, of course, a tragedy, to be sure, but she's still just waltzing around like nothing ever happened. And then it turned out her out of wedlock son that she wouldn't claim and didn't even raise turned out to be the Mergatroid serial killer. My God, what a madhouse. I think Mergatroid itself has gone insane. It's all just nuts, just absolutely nuts. That's all I have to say for now. Thanks for taking my call and having me on here. Goodbye for now.
Thank you for taking my call. My name is Bradson and I'm going to call it straight as I see. I study history and anthropology, especially Native American Indian history, and I would like to bring something up that I ran across in my research. As you know, the Tiwakanani Indian tribe fled this area nearly 400 years ago when the nearby religious fanatics of Flat Town were going after them to try to destroy them. Anyway, I ran across where the shaman, the high priest, the medicine man, what have you, of the Tiwakanani Indians actually placed a curse, yes that's right, a curse, upon this whole untoward area. So to be honest with you, I think all of the bad stuff, the living paper doll Flashy, that wooden creature, Mergatroid burning to the ground and having to be rebuilt, even the Mergatroid serial killer and all his victims, I think all of that is a result of the curse that was placed upon Mergatroid by that Indian shaman. Now that's my theory. So I've said what I have to say. Les, peace out. Peace out, everybody. Later.
Mergatroid serial killer. Mergatroid serial killer. My name is Eric. Eric.
Eric, oh Eric. Did the TV wake you up? Here, I cooked up a pizza while you were asleep. Wake up and enjoy. Here's some Vinci Pop to wash it down with. And hey, I got you some of those Vincini mental alert pills to help you get your memory back. Here, take on now Eric, take one now. I got another Vinci Pop in the fridge too if you want another one in a few minutes. So Timmy, if you are going out on that skateboard tonight, please be careful.
Oh, thank you so very much, Dr. Getrick. Now my twin sister creation, Flashy 2, and I are united as one being. We share the same body, the same consciousness, the same memories, the same shared experiences. And I am dying to get out of this lab and walk around and explore Mergatroid. I've been gone for quite a while now, traveling around through time. It's great to be back home in Mergatroid. Don't worry, Dr. Getrick, you will see me again very, very soon, I promise you.
My dear Flashy, welcome back home. If you are going out for a while, I only ask that you be very, very careful. Please, Flashy, be careful.
Oh my God. Oh my God, that's a girl's body. It looks like she's been stabbed. She's bleeding everywhere. I wonder if she's still alive. I better check the pulse.
Continue to skateboarder. Abandoned parking lot. Late at night. Behind the grocery store. I'll get you this time. You can't get away from me on that skateboard.
Flashy, where did you come from? Get out of here! The Mergatroid serial killer is back! Run!
So that cowardly little skateboarder Timmy is out of the picture now. It's just you and me, sis. Flashy, the paper doll. I tried to get rid of you twice back in London, and yet you're here again in Mergatroid to plague me. Well, this time I'll finish you off for good. This time there'll be nothing left but thousands of little scraps of paper blowing in the wind. You meet your maker tonight, Flashy sister.
Why, yes, of course. How could I forget you? The Mergatroid serial killer. I encountered you twice in London nearly 130 years ago, yet here you are back in Mergatroid slaying innocent victims once again and having the audacity and unmitigated gall to think you can take me on yet again and win. I would think by now you have had enough of my electric shocks to knock some sense into you. But I guess it's time for yet another dose of my own special shock therapy. You insane, pathetic, perverted, demented piece of human garbage. Your days of being a threat to innocent young human women are about to come to an end, Buster.
Yes, that typical arrogance. I got it too. We both inherited it from your old mom, Judy Vincini. You know, you have her DNA too. That mad scientist, Dr. Getrick, that created you, he's the same one that just brought me back to life, sis. Ooh, what's the matter? No electric shock tonight? Dead. Did you blow a fuse, sis? Oh, well, my turn to slice and dice. Whoops. There goes the leg. Whoa. There goes your arm. It looks like you're going all to pieces, Flashy. And there's your torso lying on the ground. I hear something. Afraid I gotta go. I don't guess you'll be going anywhere, Flashy. Goodbye.
Hi Eric. I am so glad you are back. Where on earth have you been? Anyway, I cooked us a late night pizza snack. It's there on the coffee table. I couldn't find the pizza cutter, but there's a knife there you can cut it with. While you are doing that, I am going to go take a quick shower. Then I will sit down with you and have some pizza and another Vinci Pop. Don't worry, I won't be in the shower very long. I'll be out in the
here at
jiffy.
CRZY News, and we have with us as our guest today Dr. Flipsher of Flattown, who will be discussing what he calls the psychological breakdown of society and Mergatroid in particular. Welcome to the show, Dr. Flipsher.
Thank you there, Allison. I'm glad to be here again. Yeah, this is Dr. Flipper here from down, and most of your viewers, I'm sure, recall when I was on here a year and a half, 2 years ago, whenever Apronhead burned down the paper doll factory and then committed suicide, and I was commenting then on the mental state of Apronhead. Well, today I'm going to comment on the mental state of Mergatroid. I think there's going to be more and more of this type of thing that y'all have seen here. If you'll recall, after Apronhead burned down the paper doll factory and killed himself, all of a sudden then, the serial killer began to strike. Well, of course, the serial killer turned out to be Apronhead's brother, as we now know, and was slain at the wedding of Les Tomac and Imogen Sakowski, and now somebody has stolen the body of the Mergatroid serial killer. I predict there's going to be copycat killers and more chaos, because I think what we're witnessing is the mental breakdown of society. I'm going to call it the psychological breakdown of Mergatroid. That's what we're all witnessing, and things are going to continue, I believe, to get worse before they get
Dr. Flipsher, to correct one of your statements. As a reporter here at CRZY who followed the Mergatroid serial killer's rampage from its very beginning some 4 years ago, I would like to clarify that the Mergatroid serial killer had already claimed many victims before Apronhead did his dirty deeds. So let's be clear about that. Now it can be argued, perhaps, that the serial killer, Eric Niedermeyer, escalated his slayings after the suicide death of his brother Apronhead, but in the interests of accuracy, let's be clear about the facts here. Dr. Flipsher.
Bulletin alert.
Thank you.
News Bulletin alert. This is Ronson Kilroy at CRZY News. We interrupt this program to bring you the following breaking news. The body of a young woman has been discovered behind the Super Deluxe grocery store tonight. Surveillance footage from the store cameras aimed at the back alley captured the event, and Lieutenant Skitters had this to say about what the surveillance footage reveals about the crime.
Deceased victim discovered here. This is Lieutenant Skitters with the Mergatroid Homicide Division. I'm in charge of the serial killer case. This appears to be a copycat killer, seeing as how I saw and personally identified the Mergatroid serial killer's death at the wedding of Les Tomac and Imogen Sakowski. I will say this. The surveillance camera and the perpetrator appears to be the same height, weight, and appearance of Eric Niedermeyer. And if I did not know that he was dead, I would say that it was the same individual. The surveillance camera also, sadly, recorded the dismemberment of Flashy the Paper Doll by this killer, and then a young, as yet unidentified skateboarder whom we believe to be Timothy Lawrenson came along and taped Flashy back together and put her in a grocery cart and took off with her. So he left the scene of the crime, this young skateboarder, and he took the other victim, Flashy the Paper Doll, with him. We do not know where he took her or where this young skateboarder is, but we want to question him further, obviously, as quickly as possible for additional information on anything he saw or heard, or additional description and information he can give us on the perpetrator, on this new apparent copycat killer. And this was Lieutenant Skinner. That's all I have to say at this moment.